and this is my BEA book haul. So I just got back from an awesome week in New York where I went to BookCon and BEA, and of course I returned home with many books. Now I was pretty selective about the books I obtained, and I still ended up with somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 books. 30 books! 30 books! On my return flight, I ended up having to check another bag, and my carry-on was just a tote bag of like 18 books. So yeah, I kind of have a lot to get through, so let's get started. So first up, I have here Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. You've probably seen this book in like every other BEA book haul thus far because they had like 5,000 copies at BEA, so like everyone got one. This was actually the very first book I got on the first day of BEA, and I was so pumped because this was one of my most anticipated BEA books, so getting it right off the bat was awesome. And can we talk about how beautiful this hardcover advanced reader copy is? Like, normally ARCs are paperback, but this one is not only hardcover, but like an awesome hardcover. It looks really cool, and I know Katrina of Little Book Owl has read this and she loved it, and it's endorsed by Marie Lu and Laini Taylor and Beth Revis, so yeah, I'm excited to read this one. Then I have here More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera, and this is an ARC, but the actual book just came out on June 2nd. Now I just talked about this in my June TBR, and I actually read this on the plane ride home, so I'll be talking about it more in my June wrap-up as well. It was really good though, like, it was good. Then I have here The Copper Gauntlet by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. Last year we had to wait in line for a really long time to get the Iron Trial at BEA, but this year they were just handing out The Copper Gauntlet and I didn't have to wait in line, and I got it on the first day, and I was shocked at that, but also very excited. Holly Black and Cassandra Clare are two of my favorite authors. I thought the first book in this series was an awesome start, so I am excited to continue. Then I have here Soundless by Rochelle Mead. And this is one that I managed to get autographed. This is a fantasy novel that has some Chinese folklore influences, and I believe it's a standalone, and you guys know how much I appreciate a good standalone, and you know, Rochelle Mead is a fantastic author, so I think I'm gonna like this one. Next up is Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. Another autographed book. This was actually the one book from BEA that I most wanted to get, so I kind of actually sprinted for the line for this one, and I was so relieved when I got a copy, and I'm gonna be reading this one soon. Then I have here Zeros by Scott Westerfeld, Margot Lanigan, and Deborah Biancotti. I haven't read anything by Margot or Deborah, but Scott Westerfeld is one of my favorite authors of all time, and this book is about some teenagers with not so awesome superpowers, which just sounds really cool. Then I have here another one of my most anticipated BEA releases, and that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Unfortunately, I missed the autographing session for this book, so I ended up waiting in line for like 2 hours to get an unsigned copy, and I have no regrets about that. The Grisha trilogy was awesome, and I just want more set in that world, and that's what this is. So hell yeah. This next book I feel a little bit guilty about because I actually have not yet read the first book, but I'm going to, like, very soon, so I can jump right into Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray. Another book that I stood in line for quite a while, but I did get it signed. And I'm just so excited that this is like an actual book. I mean, it's an ARC, but like, the words are all here. It's real, it's done, it's happening! Now, most of the books I got were paperback advanced reader copies, but I did also get some finished hardcovers, so I'm gonna show you those now. So I have here Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rosh. I did already buy myself a copy of this book, but this one is signed! Also, it was just awesome to meet Sarah in real life finally, because I've been following her blog for years and years and years. Like, since 2009 or something. Then I have here Daughter of Deep Silence by Carrie Ryan, and this is also autographed. I waited in line many moons. This book just came out at the end of May, and I actually talked about it in my May TBR a little bit. It's a standalone revenge thriller, and it just, ooh, sounds like something I want to read. Then I have here The Water Knife by Paolo Bacigalupi. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I actually hadn't heard about this book before BEA, but Reagan is familiar with the author, and I have heard very good things about him. Like, his young adult book, Shipbreaker, has received many awards, and just there's lots of praise surrounding that. And this one had a really pretty cover, and it sounded cool, so I waited in line, and I got it signed. And finally, I have a hardcover that I didn't actually get from like a BEA thing, but a viewer, Ferdinand, aka Freakin' Hate Gale, brought me All the Bright Places by Jennifer Neven. Last year he got me These Broken Stars, and he wanted to get me another book this year, and just thank you again so much, Ferdinand. You are so good at picking out books that I don't already own, which is actually quite the feat. Then I have here another finished copy, but it's not a hardcover, it's paperback. It is White Hot Kiss by Jennifer L. Armentrout, another book that I actually do already own, but I was able to get this one signed. She wrote for me, "Cat, where's Damon?" And is that not the best autograph ever? Next up is a book that you probably already saw if you watched my collab video with Christine and Jesse, and that is Pop Sonnets by Eric Didrikson. It's basically pop lyrics rewritten in a Shakespearean sonnet style, and it's wonderful. And then I have here Warren the 13th and the All-Seeing Eye by Tanya Del Rio. And this one I was mostly interested in because it's illustrated by Will Staley, I think that's how you say it, and he is the artist who did the covers for V.E. Schwab's A Darker Shade of Magic, which I love those covers, so I was all over this, like, just for the illustrations, but it also sounds like a really cool and fun middle grade read, which I haven't read a lot of middle grade lately, so this might get me back in the game. Speaking of awesome illustrations, I also have here The Marvels by Brian Selznick. And this is a really interesting book because the first, like, 400 pages or so are just illustrations, and then we get a couple hundred pages of text, and like together an awesome story is told, and it just sounds super cool. Then I have here Another Day by David Levithan, and this one is also signed. This is the sequel to Every Day, which I read a couple years ago when it first came out, and I loved it, but I was like, how can this be a standalone? Well, it turns out it's not exactly a standalone. It's kind of a companion slash sequel, like we're seeing from a different point of view, but we're set in that same world, and I am just so excited to see what happens with the story. Then I have here Never Always Sometimes by Adele Said. This is a contemporary novel about a boy and a girl who are best friends, and going into high school they make this list of things you should never do, but in their senior year of high school they get kind of bored and they decide to just do everything on the list. It sounds super fun, and I actually got to briefly meet Adele Said, and he was super cool, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Next up I have here Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. This is a debut novel, and it's been getting so much positive buzz lately, I just had to pick it up. It's about a girl who is basically allergic to everything, so she has to stay inside all the time, but then a cute neighbor boy moves next door and things get interesting. Next up I have here a handful of books that I wasn't planning to get at BEA, but somehow they ended up in my possession, and they sound cool, so I'm keeping them. So first I have here What We Saw by Aaron Hartzler. I actually met Aaron at Y'all West last month, and he is really cool, so when I got this book in like my goodie bag from the Epic Reads party, I was super pumped because this is actually one that I've been wanting to read. Then I have here an advanced reader copy of Progeny of Gods by Jeffrey Storm, who is a fellow booktuber who I met and got to hang out with at BookCon. Hey Jeff! I actually got the first autographed arc, so yeah. This is a really cool sounding high fantasy novel, and I've been hearing good stuff so far. It comes out on July 9th, and it's actually going to be free on ebook for the first few days, so keep your eyes open for that. Then I have here Kill the Boy Band by Goldie Madolsky. This is a debut novel and it sounds super fun. It's about these fangirls who are kind of stalking this boy band and then they accidentally kidnap one of the members. Then I have here The Scorpion Rules by Erin Bow. This is set in a really interesting future where like the entire world is on the brink of war. So there's this system in place where if you want to rule, you have to submit your child as kind of a hostage. And if you start causing trouble, your child is murdered. I've been really into like political thriller type stuff lately, so this sounds right up my alley. Then I have The Blackthorn Key by Kevin Sands, which was kind of pitched as middle grade Da Vinci Code, and that sounds amazing. On one of the mornings I was invited to the Harlequin author breakfast event, and that's actually where I met Jennifer L. Armentrout and Adele Said and a couple other authors, so I have their books here as well. So I have Nowhere But Here by Katie McGarry, who is an author I've been wanting to read for a while, but I don't own any of her books, or I didn't until now. I have this one. I guess I'll start here. I also have here Legacy of Kings by Eleanor Herman. This is the first book in a new high fantasy series, and Eleanor is actually a historian, so I feel like there's gonna be lots of cool world building and like interesting politics in this book. And finally, I have some graphic novels and comics and chapter samples that I just want to show you real quick. So first I have here a graphic novel, The Woods by James Tinian and Michael Dialanis. I've been into graphic novels lately and this one sounds creepy and fantastical and I can't wait to read it. I got a handful of comics that I'm just gonna go through real quick. The first volume of Saga, the Orphan Black comic, which I love the show, so I grabbed this immediately. Manifest Destiny, Low, Chew, and Mind the Gap. With Saga and Orphan Black, I'd heard of those and I knew I wanted these, and then the rest of these were kind of recommended to me by the person who was manning the comic table. I told them I liked paranormal and funny, and these are the ones they suggested I pick up, so I did. Of course, I got my hands on the Lady Midnight sampler and the Magnus Chase sampler. I also got this beautiful sampler of the Harry Potter illustrated book that is coming out later this fall. I'm probably just gonna cut all these pictures out and like put them on my wall and then film in front of them because they're beautiful. Okay, that is it. That was my BEA 2015 book haul, and that is all for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great night, and I will have another video up soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye! Then I have The Copper Gauntlet by Holly Black, and that is Pop Sonnets by Eric Didrika. Damn it! And that is Pop Sonnets. Why can't I get this out? And this one is also signed. Ow, I hurt my thumb so like I can't flip things anymore. No! No! You're getting away from me! Oh my god, stay. 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 All you had to do was stay! No! 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 Help! Don't do this to me! No! Oh, no! I'm gonna put these ones down now. Gently. Gently. Oh, fuck.